Picture this: you are 11 years old, the son of a fisherman on the sun-soaked island of Delos. The air smells of salt and drying nets, and the calloused hands of your father have always meant safety. The days pass in rhythm with the tide, hauling baskets, gutting silver-scaled fish, chasing gulls that dare come too close. You sleep each night on a straw mat beside your younger brother, beneath a roof patched with clay and reeds, dreaming of ships and storms and gods who walk like men. Then, one morning, your father is silent at breakfast. He doesn't eat. He doesn't look you in the eye. When you ask what's wrong, he only says, "Be strong." That's when the stranger appears. He arrives on horseback, tall, with olive skin and a beard too perfect to be real. He wears a red chiton that glitters like fire and speaks with the slow, oily confidence of someone who always gets what he wants. He inspects you like you are cattle, lifting your chin, measuring your limbs, brushing the hair from your face. You've never been touched like that before. Then he nods, and just like that, you are sold. Your mother wails. Your brother clings to your leg. Your father signs the tablet. You are led away with a rope loosely tied around your wrist. They call it an opportunity. They say you will serve a noble house in Athens, perhaps even in the palace of a strategos. That you will be trained, clothed, perhaps even educated. But as the boat pulls away from the dock and your island shrinks into nothing but a green blur on the horizon, all you feel is something snapping inside you. You are not a boy anymore. You are property. The journey to Athens takes 4 days by sea. You are crammed into the hold of a merchant vessel with 3 other boys, one from Rhodes, one from Lesbos, and one so quiet he hasn't spoken since you left port. The air is thick with vomit and sweat, and rats nibble at the crumbs in your pockets as you try to sleep. The sailors leer at you. One pinches your cheek and calls you honey-eyed. You learn not to make eye contact. You learn to flinch preemptively. When you finally dock at Piraeus, the harbor of Athens, the world opens into chaos, men shouting, animals braying, carts groaning under amphorae of wine and oil. You are shoved along the marble streets of the city, past stores and temples, past beggars with empty bowls and citizens with laurel wreaths in their hair. Everything gleams, except you. They take you to a large house on the edge of the Acropolis, its walls high and its doors guarded. Inside, everything is quiet. Too quiet. The man who bought you is not there to greet you. Instead, an older slave with tired eyes takes your clothes, bathes you in cold water, and rubs oil into your skin until it shines. Then he dresses you in a soft linen tunic, far finer than anything you've worn before. You don't feel clean. You feel like you've been polished. That night, you sleep alone in a stone room with no windows. There is a single blanket on the floor, and the sound of footsteps pacing somewhere outside your door. You don't know what you're waiting for, but something inside you is bracing, shrinking. You feel it in your gut, that nothing from the old world is coming to save you. You are in the heart of Athens now, and every part of you, from your name to your silence, belongs to someone else. Morning comes, but no one wakes you with a kind word. A stern woman with silver rings on her fingers opens the door and hands you a wooden bowl of porridge. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. Her eyes scan you like an object on loan. You eat quickly, then follow her down a narrow corridor lit by small, barred windows. Outside, the house is even larger than you imagined. Marble columns. Olive trees swaying silently in the breeze. A caged bird sings beautifully in the courtyard, its wings clipped, forever grounded. They call the place a gymnasium, but it holds no women. It holds boys. Beautiful boys. Boys with smooth cheeks and haunted eyes. You meet them in the training hall, where you're taught how to walk gracefully, how to lower your eyes just enough to show respect without seeming afraid. You're taught how to pour wine without splashing a single drop, how to dance to the rhythm of an Aulos flute, how to sing verses of Homer with flawless diction. They are grooming you not to serve, but to seduce. Not with desire, no, not yet, but with innocence. purity, youth. The others do not speak much. They are polite, measured, rehearsed. A boy named Theros smiles at you often. But his smile is too perfect, too practiced. Like a mask carved from marble. You learn quickly that everything here is performance. Every movement, every glance, is for someone else's pleasure. And the one you are being prepared for, the man who owns this house, is said to be powerful, connected to the assembly, a patron of the arts. He has expensive tastes. He likes his boys young, clever, and obedient. By the end of the third day, you no longer walk like a fisherman's son. You walk like they taught you, back straight, eyes lowered, lips closed. But something inside you aches to scream. You're beginning to understand that what's coming isn't just a role to play, it's a skin you'll be forced to wear until you forget what it was like to be free. The first time you see him, you're pouring wine. The hall is full of powerful men, senators, merchants, generals. They speak in booming voices, laughing over lamb and figs, their words heavy with ego. But when he enters, silence follows like a shadow. He wears a dark himation, embroidered with gold thread, and walks with the slow confidence of someone who has never been told no. This is your patron. The man you've been prepared for. His eyes scan the room and land on you like a blade. He doesn't speak to you, not yet. He gestures, and you approach. You kneel, offer the goblet. He takes it without looking. Then, without a word, he brushes your chin upward with a single finger. His touch is not gentle. It's ownership. Everyone in the room sees it, and no one objects. They smile, nod, keep eating. This is normal here. Expected. You've been chosen. That night, you're summoned to his private quarters. The eunuch who delivers the message speaks in a flat tone. Wear the blue robe, he says. Comb your hair. Be quiet. The robe is too thin. Your skin feels exposed, even before you enter the room. He's sitting on a couch, wine in hand, watching a lyre player strum softly in the corner. He gestures again. You sit. You lower your eyes. You've been told this is an honor, that boys who please him are rewarded, educated, elevated. But your hands are shaking. He speaks your name for the first time. Slowly. Like he's tasting it. You've learned quickly, he says. That pleases me. Then he dismisses the lyre player, and the door closes with a finality that turns your stomach. What happens next is not violent. Not loud. It's soft. Slow. Methodical. Like routine. And that's what makes it worse. Because you realize, in that moment, that this isn't some rare cruelty. This is your life now. A ritual repeated night after night. A fate wrapped in silk and smiles. And there's no one coming to save you. Days become patterns. Mornings begin with cold water poured over your head in the servants' courtyard. The chill bites, but you no longer flinch. Then comes grooming, hair braided tightly, skin scented with oils of myrrh and rose. You're dressed by others, eunuchs with hands that never tremble. They adjust every fold of your robe, polish your sandals, smooth out any imperfection. You are not allowed to dress yourself. Not anymore. A concubine does not belong to himself. You walk through the marble halls like a shadow of a person. You are taught to move gracefully, to speak only when addressed, to laugh at the right moment, to weep only when asked to perform grief. One day, they bring in a new boy. He's from Aegina. Younger than you were. Terrified. His eyes dart around the room like a cornered animal. That night, you hold his hand while he cries into a pillow. You whisper the same lies that were whispered to you. It gets easier. You'll be fine. But you both know it's not true. Your patron parades you at symposia now. He lets you sit beside him while men debate war and taxes. Sometimes he calls you his little philosopher, and the men laugh. But it's not humor. It's power. A display. They see you as part of his wealth, like the gold cuffs on his wrist or the silver goblet in his hand. One night, a general asks if he might borrow you. The request is polite, almost casual. You hold your breath. But your patron declines. He is mine, and the general nods, smiling as if he's only asked to taste a rare wine and been refused. You are flattered property. You start to forget your real name. The language of your village becomes foreign in your mouth. Memories of your mother's voice grow dimmer. You try to hold on to something human inside you, but each night chips away at it. You wonder, if you ever escaped, would there be anything left of you to save? The city celebrates the spring festival of Dionysus. Music floods the streets, wine overflows from goblets, and masks cover every face, some laughing, some grotesque, all hiding something. You are brought to a gathering high on the Acropolis. The stone terrace overlooks Athens, glowing with torchlight. You sit cross-legged on a velvet cushion beside your patron, your face painted with delicate lines, your robe dyed crimson to catch the eyes of his peers. A poet begins reciting verses about love and death, and laughter echoes through the marble hall. But you notice the boys around the room. All young. All silent. Like you, they are dressed for display, chosen for the way their eyes shimmer under flame and shadow. One boy, older than you by only a few years, meets your gaze. There is no fear in his expression, just a blank resignation, as if nothing could shock him anymore. You envy that emptiness. Later that night, you are summoned. The man who owns you is drunk. His words are slurred. He kisses you roughly, not out of affection, but out of dominance. When he falls asleep, you lie awake, staring at the intricate mosaic above the bed, tiny colored stones forming the face of a lion devouring a stag. You wonder if it's a metaphor, if the artists knew they were telling your story. In the quiet that follows, your thoughts return to the boy from Aegina. You haven't seen him in days. No one speaks of where he went. This silence has meaning. Every disappearance does. And now you understand that nothing protects you, not loyalty, not obedience, not even beauty. You realize that survival here is not about endurance, it's about erasure. The less you feel, the more you live. The mornings blur into each other, soft light spilling through linen curtains, the scent of olive oil and ash lingering in the air. You rise before dawn, as trained, your body moving without thought. You bathe in silence. You dress in silence. You smile in silence. Because silence is your armor now. Words belong to the powerful, and boys like you are expected only to listen, to obey, to be. Your patron no longer sees you as novelty. The gifts have stopped. The praise has dulled. What remains is duty, cold and mechanical. You are expected to wait, to please, to never interrupt his hunger with your pain. On days when he ignores you, you feel relief and terror in equal measure. Because invisibility here is a gamble. You might be forgotten or replaced. One evening, a new boy arrives. He's from Thebes, barely 13, with golden curls and the look of someone who still believes in fairness. You see how your patron watches him now. And suddenly, you understand that your time is ending, not with a farewell, but with a fading. Like a candle burning low, giving off less light, less heat. You feel it in the way the slaves no longer bow as deeply when passing you in the corridor. You feel it in the empty corner of your bedchamber, where his gifts used to pile. He does not beat you. He does not dismiss you. He simply no longer looks. And that, somehow, is worse. You begin to see your future in the faces of the older concubines, those with perfect posture and hollow eyes. They whisper advice to the newcomers now, moving like ghosts through the halls. They survived. But at what cost? You ask yourself if the boy from Thebes will remember his own name a year from now. You wonder if you still remember yours. You are 16 now. Not quite a man by Athenian law, but but no longer the child they once brought in under torchlight. And with each passing season, your usefulness fades. Youth is a currency here, and your body, once so prized, has begun to age out of value. The household changes. A new concubine, barely older than 10, laughs where you once stood silent. He clutches the edge of your patron's robe like you once did. You don't envy him. You pity him. You want to tell him what's coming, but you don't. You never do. No one ever does. You are moved to smaller quarters. Your tunic is thinner now, your meals colder. Still, you fulfill your duties. You smile when spoken to. You nod. You bow. You pretend not to notice the looks of disdain from the younger boys or the way the master forgets your name when guests are near. One evening, you overhear a conversation between the steward and a merchant, something about freeing the older ones, making room for new stock. It hits you then, you're no longer a possession. You are waste. The morning they send you away is silent. No ceremony. No farewell. A cloak is tossed at your feet. You are given coins, enough to survive a few weeks, not enough to matter. The gates open, and for the first time in years, you see the city not as a cage but as a void. You walk without direction, among men who see you as nothing. You are no longer property. But you are also no one. That night, you sleep beneath a colonnade, staring up at the stars you'd long forgotten. The wind is sharp. The world is loud. And for the first time in your life, there is no one to command you. No one to touch you. No one to notice if you live or die. You are free. And you are utterly lost. You drift through Athens like a ghost wearing the skin of a boy. People pass you, speak around you, never to you. In the agora, vendors shout over your head, their eyes skipping over your presence as if you're just another piece of dust in the sunlight. You try to find work, carrying water, sweeping floors, but your hands are soft, untrained for labor, and your gaze too hollow. They say you're strange. They say you've got the eyes of someone who's seen too much and come back broken. At night, you lie awake on temple steps, clutching the thin cloak that barely keeps the wind from slicing into your bones. You think of the other boys. Ones who tried to flee, who were caught, who simply vanished. You remember the ones who laughed to hide the shaking in their voices, who offered kindness when they could still spare it. You wonder if any of them survived, if any of them walked these same streets, invisible just like you. And then, one evening, you see him. Your patron. The man who once owned you. He's older now, more gray in his beard, but his posture remains regal, untouched by time or consequence. He doesn't notice you, doesn't even look in your direction. He's laughing with a new boy in tow, one who walks 2 steps behind him with practiced grace, wearing silk the way you once did. The sight punches the air from your lungs. It's not jealousy. It's recognition. That was you. That was always going to be someone else after you. You don't approach. You turn away. You walk into the shadows of the city that raised you in chains and released you in silence. And in that moment, you begin to realize something cruel and permanent. You will never truly belong to this world, not as a citizen, not as a man, not as anything with a name. You were shaped in darkness, and now, even in freedom, you carry its weight like a second skin. Years pass. Your face changes, your voice deepens, and the boy you once were becomes harder to remember. You rent a corner in a potter's shed, trading odd jobs for food and shelter. You never marry. You never speak of your past. When people ask where you're from, you lie, not because you're ashamed, but because the truth is untranslatable in any language not soaked in blood and silence. You watch generations grow and fall. You see the same cycle repeat, boys taken, boys shaped, boys discarded. Occasionally, one of them finds you. They don't know why, but they're drawn to the hollow in your eyes. They ask questions you can't answer, hoping you'll explain something, anything, that makes their own pain make sense. You try. You offer them food, a safe place for the night. You listen. You don't tell them it never really ends. One night, you walk to the edge of the same sea that once took you from your mother's arms. The waves crash like memories, relentless, foaming with forgotten names. You take off your sandals, step into the cold, briny surf, and let the water climb your legs like time unspooling. You whisper the name they gave you, then the name your mother called you, and then nothing at all. No one writes your history. No poets sing of your sacrifice. You were not a hero. You were not a villain. You were a boy, then a body, then a shadow. But somewhere, perhaps in the dark corners of ancient scrolls or the barely audible sobs behind marble columns, your echo remains. A testament not to survival, but to the unspoken cost of power, pleasure, and empire. And as the tide carries your footprints away, the world forgets. But we won't.